In my last video, I showed you the creation of this painting behind me. This is a colour study, or it was a colour study, I should say, for a bigger painting that I'm going to work on. Initially, my plan was to transfer this painting onto one of these much bigger canvases. But the plan has changed. I don't want to just copy this painting like for like onto this canvas. This canvas is so good that I want to do it justice and create something completely brand new. I'm still going to follow the same theme as this one, but I want a slightly different composition and a slightly different set of colours. It's not that I don't like this painting, it's actually exactly the opposite. I love it. This was only supposed to be a quick colour study, but it actually took me a few days to create because I just got stuck into the process. I love the colours, I love how glowy the clouds look, and I love the contrast between the clouds and the deer in the foreground. But I just want to mix it up for the next piece. I don't want to just copy this exactly, because this is good enough as a standalone painting. It's not a colour study anymore. It's its own piece in its own right. Which means I need to come up with some fresh ideas. So it's literally back to the drawing board. Now, I don't want to just jump into the painting again, I need to develop an idea. And I didn't want to just go straight to the iPad, so I did a little bit of sketching in my sketchbook to start with, just jotting down some ideas of what I wanted and just studying a little bit of the deer. So one of the things I really struggle with are deer legs. So I did a little anatomy breakdown of the legs and then tried to construct a deer in a slightly different pose to the one that I've got. I want something walking forward a little bit more. There are elements of this painting that I absolutely love and I will be keeping in the next one. So I love the sky, I love the foreground, and I like the deer. But I want to tell a little bit more of a story with the piece. So here's the little sketch that I did. This is just done with a biro, and we've got two deer still, but this time we've got a male deer and a female deer. The foreground is the same and the background is the same. And I've taken some time with this piece to try and just construct some of the values that I might see within the painting. I then moved back to my iPad to try and construct a reference photo. This is a combination of mixing photos together and doing bits of digital drawing. So there were so many different iterations of what this piece could look like. There's just starting out and then starting to refine it, move things around a little bit, change colours, and you don't understand how long this takes. So doing this process, even though I'd already done the initial sketches, even though I'd already done this study, it still took me about 2 days to come up with an idea. Once I had that idea, then I've got a line drawing, which you might just be able to see that, and I'm going to use that to project my image because, again, on these large scale pictures, I want to be able to, not this one's tiny, but on a bigger one, I want to be able to get the proportions accurate, and I don't want to have to spend hours and hours and hours doing that when I can do it in a few minutes with this. Then what I did on my iPad, fantastic for this, is a little value study. So hopefully you can see that there, and I will show you a time lapse of this. But basically I'm just looking at my values, so a value scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being my pure white and 10 being pure black. And then I pretty much eliminate 1 and 10 from the painting because I'm probably not going to use them at all. I then decide what I want the values to be, and I want to try and split this painting up into clear value sections with little bits of values throughout. But I'm happy with this. I think it looks like a dynamic composition. I think it flows quite nicely in the eye, and I cannot wait to get started on this painting. Now, I bet you're thinking, fantastic, we can take this off here, put that to the side, and then we can take our big canvas, whack that on our easel, just as gracefully and as professionally as I have done here, take off that wrapper and start painting. But unfortunately, you'd be wrong. There's still a very crucial step that I've got to do before I can move on to this big painting. Technically, there's two crucial steps. Even though I love the colours in this painting, they work for this painting. I don't think they'll work as well for the big painting that I'm going to do. So before I start this, I'm going to have to create something on this. A much smaller and hopefully very quick colour study. Because I'm doing this one with oil paints and this one was with acrylics, those colours and those pigments and those types of paints behave very differently. So I need to see how those colours are going to react with a small colour study in oil paints. But before I can do that, I need to prepare this board. I didn't used to do these small little studies. It's something that I've only really started doing in the last year or two. And it's been so helpful. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I didn't have any small canvases for this one, so I cut a piece of MDF to size and just prepped it with some gesso. Because I'm using oil paints, I didn't really need to prep it with anything else. It's a super small study, so I want this process to be as quick and simple as possible. What I'm doing here is a colour study, so I want to try and keep my palette as simple as possible in my actual big painting. But to do that, I need to have a play around and test out the colours and try different colours and see how they all mix together. I want to try and create a really vibrant and harmonious painting. And to do that, I need to understand what colours I'm using and how they interact with each other. I didn't used to do this. I used to just pick any random reds, any random blues, any random yellows, and I'd just mix them, and if I got close enough to the colour that I wanted, great. But I want to start making great paintings. Paintings that somebody goes, yeah, that is my favourite painting ever in the world. I'm a long way off, but I think adding this element of thinking about colours in my work is going to take them to a whole new level. And I know because I've already done this study, it's going to make the final painting so much easier. I can really focus on the details and values because I've already done the colours. Okay, so that is the colour study done. I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out, especially for such a quick little picture. This really only took me sort of about an hour of painting to be able to do, and it also gave me an idea of how to start the big painting as well, which is on the easel and pretty much ready to go. However, there is still one more thing that I need to do before I can actually start painting on this. I'm going to try something a little bit different at the end of my video, so let me know if you enjoy this or not. But I'm going to try and do a bit of a Q&A at the end, answering some of the common questions about what I've just talked about in the video. So, first question is, why did I decide not to replicate this original painting? And why am I doing something new on this larger piece? And it's quite simply the fact that I've already done this painting. I did it to a better standard than I thought it was going to be, so I just don't want to do it again. I want to make something better than this. Or not necessarily better, because that devalues this, but I want to make something different to this, because this is already a great painting in my opinion, and I'm really happy with it. That brings us to the second question, which is how do I know when the colour study becomes a standalone piece? So how do I know that this is its own piece rather than just a quick colour study like this one? Well, I'm hoping that you can tell a little bit of a difference between the two of them. Obviously this one's bigger, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. I think for me, the thing that makes this one better than this one is that it's more refined. The brushwork is a little bit more controlled, and for realism the proportions are a little bit better, which is something that I'm aiming for with all of my paintings. I don't necessarily want it looking like a photograph, but I do want everything looking as accurate as possible in terms of the animal, the environment, The lighting I'm not as bothered about. I want it close, but it doesn't need to be perfect. I don't want it to look like it was a photograph. I want it to look like it's a painting. So if I'm doing things that can't be physically possible with a photograph, that's still okay in my book. But then this one is definitely a colour study, just because that brushwork is a little bit looser. You can still see some of the original sketch lines underneath. It's all just a little bit more rough and ready, which is why this one is not a finished painting and this one is, because that brushwork, the pencil lines are gone, the brushwork is a little bit neater, a little bit more refined, a little bit more controlled, and it just looks like a more finished product. The next question is, how do I balance planning versus improvising when I paint? So I didn't always plan paintings like this, and even when I'm planning a painting, there's still a little bit of artistic license and improvising within each piece. So if we look at these two paintings again, for an example, even though they are relatively similar, they have the same subject to deer, the grassland's the same, the clouds are relatively similar, there's still differences within each of those paintings, because as I'm painting them, I'm noticing different things, I'm trying new things, I'm experimenting, and just trying to be a little bit more creative with each piece that I create. Some things will go right, some things will go wrong, and it's important to not just stick rigidly to a plan. You've got to experiment, you've got to improvise, and you've got to have fun with the painting, and that's what I try to do with every piece, even if I've planned it as thoroughly as these. Okay, on to the next question. How important is sketching by hand before sketching digitally? And this is just personal preference. I don't do it with every painting. Sometimes I will sketch beforehand, sometimes I won't do a sketch at all. Sometimes I just like the feel of pen on paper, especially if I am trying to learn something new. If I want to learn something new, I'm trying to do it by hand. I don't know, just the feel of the paper, just like doing it on an actual physical sketchbook sort of helps me lock it in a little bit more. If I'm just designing an idea, designing a thumbnail, trying to get an idea in my head, then I'll use the digital drawing apps. I'll use my iPad. And that leads me on to the next question, which is, do I always start with those like anatomy studies before drawing an animal? And the answer is no. I think it's a fantastic idea if you can get the anatomy right and you can take the time to study the anatomy for every single animal that you want to draw or paint. That would be absolutely fantastic. I do not always have the time for that. If I've got a reference photo and that reference photo has every part of the animal in that photo that I want to paint or draw, I want to copy that reference photo of that animal perfectly, then I won't do anatomy studies. I will just base it off the reference photo. However, if there's little bits that I want to tweak with that reference photo, if I want to move a leg, if I want to put antlers in a different way, if I want to shape the head, whatever it is I'm trying to do, then I do need an understanding of that anatomy a little bit more than just copying the reference photo. If I'm trying to move things around, reposition them, and almost like come up with new compositions and new positions for that animal, then I absolutely need to do those anatomy studies to just understand how the bones work, how the muscles lie on those bones, and how that animal would look in those new positions. Okay, second to last question. What apps do I use on my iPad for planning those references? And it's really straightforward. I just use the Procreate app. It's fantastic for what I need it for, really simple to use, and I did actually do a video on my Patreon showing my exact process for building those references. So if you want to go and check that out, you can join my Studio Wildlife Patreon community. I will leave a link in the description so you can go and check it out. And then the final question, and quite a big one. How do I stay motivated when an idea takes days to refine? I honestly cannot remember how long ago I had the idea for this painting, like probably close to a month ago, and normally I just jump straight in to the painting and I'll jump onto the canvas, but I've let this one sit for a while. I don't usually do this, so I'm hoping it goes well. I've been really happy with all the studies that I've been doing, all the drawings, all the sketches. I will show you some more of those sketches in the next video. And basically the way that I've stayed motivated is I've tried to not think about doing any other picture. If I start thinking about doing another picture and getting excited about doing another painting, then I lose interest for this one. So I'm just really, really trying to force myself to stay excited about this painting. I want it to be one of the best paintings I've ever done, and I think for me, in order to do that, I need to keep on reminding myself to slow down and just take my time with this painting. And that is sort of like exciting in itself. The thought that I am trying to make the best painting I possibly can or I ever have excites me and motivates me to stay on track with this piece. And because I'm not just copying this reference, because I'm building on the references every time I do one of these studies, and the painting is different each time, I think that helps me keep on track as well. If I was just to copy the same thing over and over and over again, it might get a little bit boring, but because I'm improving gradually with each of these studies that I do, and changing things, adjusting things, and hopefully making the painting better, I feel like I've got that motivation to carry on. And I actually cannot wait to get paint on this canvas, which is going to happen very, very soon. Anyway, if you've got any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I will try and answer them in my next video. But as always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.